I'm in quarantine with Will, Scott and James from Black Lake. So pleased to meet you guys. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing very well, thank you. I can see you all there in your man caves. What I want to know is, where are you all actually based? Because I know half the band, or some of you anyway, are from South Wales and some from the southwest of England. So who's from where?
Go on, Scott.
James from Abergwine, or Fishguard as it's said in English. Me and the bass player from Newport, South Wales. The drummer and the other guitar player from South Wales, Valleys. And Will is in deepest, darkest Malmesbury. So he makes the interesting nearest Bristol guy.
So the obvious question then, twofold. How did you all meet and form this band, and how on earth do you practice?
So James and our bass player have been in a band previously. And everything was moderately successful, and then as things do, they came to a natural end, and we thought about starting a new band, and we decided that we needed to hire and become friends with a proper singer. So hence the search for Will began. And the search didn't start with Will, but it certainly ended with Will. So Will tell his part of the story, I'm sure, but we basically, bribed him with alcohol and chocolate to make the commute over the bridge every 5 to 6 minutes. And so far, we're still winning. So.
Excellent. Right, so you've been going since 2017. 6 of you in a band. Too many people in the band, possibly.
Well, I suppose
I didn't like to say, but it has to be asked. Do you need 6 members, really?
Yes.
That'd be more if Scott had his way.
Yeah. It's like 3 fewer than Slipknot, right? They got 9, so 6 is packing light.
All right then. So as long as you all get on, I mean, I can understand. You're all spread out over the place. That probably helps it.
Yeah, we. I think everyone finds their own little niche, so everyone does their own thing. So yeah, so far, although hopefully we're not tempting fate, nothing's been. Everything's fairly amicable, and everyone gets on, and everyone sort of does their thing.
Like one big extended family that can't meet each other because we're all in lockdown. So
right.
Yes, we totally get that. Will, I hear you're a bit of an artist. So little birdie's been telling me you've been spending lockdown doing drawings. So what are these drawings all about then?
Does that bird have a beard by any chance?
Hey, I haven't said nothing.
So go on, spill the beans, or spill the tea, as the kids are now saying.
Wow.
It's I don't know what James has been saying, but I was responsible for storyboarding the last music video, and it's not a pretty sight.
Oh.
Something between Stickman and well, I don't know. It's not it's not it's not like I'm gonna hang in a gallery, let's put it that way.
One day, you never know. Yeah, you can always do a charity auction, sell it off, who knows?
They're not paying people to take it home with them.
We'll pay the charity to take it off our hands, absolutely.
No, which festivals were you intending to play this year?
Right, since they got written off, we're just going to make this up and say download. Songs all around Europe. No.
Free Hellfest. Yeah, we were going to do them all.
No, we. I think we were down on Wildfire, Hog the Bridge.
Yeah.
Any others? Was that
Highway to Hell? We got to the final.
Oh, Highway to Hell. Yeah.
Let's talk about your latest single and the video for it, Death Throne. It's been doing incredibly well. Brilliant video, brilliant song. What's the song about?
Like a lot of our songs, it's open to interpretation. I think there's a cutting message in there which is hitting home at the moment about We Die Alone, which we denied about whether or not it was the right time to release the single, purely based on the mood of the world at the moment, what with what's going on. But we honestly hoped that the emphasis wouldn't be on those lyrics, and I suppose the whole song is about living under someone else's rule or being misled, mistreated. I mean, that's where I come from quite often when I write, but I know that Scott and James will try and keep me on a path similar to theirs when I turn in the first draft of lyrics. So if you ask James what the song's about, it'll be something entirely different to what I think.
No, I get that a lot. You know, when I speak to singers and songwriters, and they often say that it means different things to each of them. So, yeah, completely open to interpretation by whoever's listening to it at the time. But the song before that you released, "Break the Silence," was that something specific that you were writing about there?
Scott?
Yeah, it definitely was. So, yeah, again, lyrically, that's pretty much, I think, I might be wrong, but that's nearly all Will, which is unusual for us. Normally it's a combination of things, but yeah. Will, let's put it this way. Will had a bad experience once. So that song is very much penned from the angle about that bad experience. But essentially all the themes are about isolation and feeling trapped and trying to fight your way out of it, really, which I think at the time it seemed to resonate quite well with people again while we've all been in lockdown this year. So yes, there is a specific set of circumstances, but maybe that's for another day. I'll let the minds wander about what that bad experience was.
Well, I mean, it's up to Will if you want to share with us. I'm sure everyone will be interested to know if you feel able to share. I mean, obviously, I don't want you to be pushed into saying something that you will later regret or feel uncomfortable saying.
No, it's not.
It's not that bad.
It's not too tormenting for me to go into detail. The song originally, the demo was when Scott wrote the demo, it was called "Cold and Alone," and when I read the name, it instantly took me back to an experience I'd had, and I ended up writing the entire song, trying to relive that experience. And effectively, what happened was I went on a night out for a friend's birthday in London. And we were in a bar, and I got up from the table and said, "Who wants a drink?" I went to the bar to get the drinks in, and then nothing. I don't remember anything until about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I was just wandering through the streets of London, and I don't know how I got there. I've got no recollection of even reaching the bar to get the drinks. I don't know what happened. My friends didn't know where I was. I had no money. My phone was flat. It was a very odd and uncomfortable experience, which is why the lyrics were all about, isolation and really not knowing where to turn. Yeah, it came down to, I think, someone dropping something in my drink, but don't know.
I think 2 bottles of rum that was dropped into his drink. That's what I'm kidding.
It was early in the evening, mate. I wasn't that drunk yet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about your debut album. Okay, so you've launched a GoFundMe campaign to support the recording of the debut album. So when is it scheduled to be released?
Summer 2020, I believe, was the plan.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I heard as well.
Yeah.
When is it scheduled to be released?
What do you think, guys?
Well, hopefully it'll be out as early as we can next year. But as you might imagine, getting in the studio at the moment with COVID restrictions is incredibly difficult. Simply because we don't want to put anyone at risk. We don't want anyone else to be at risk. So it's all written. A lot of it's already recorded. It's just a case of going to finish off. So it shouldn't be too long. But certainly, definitely at some point next year, obviously vaccine and everything else permitting, we'll be planning to get into the studio as soon as we can. Tentatively, at the moment, we're looking at sort of February, March. But yeah, obviously completely scuppered our plans from this year, unfortunately, because it just wasn't possible to go and record it. And then we could have done it at home, but we didn't think that was right. We wanted to make sure that everything was recorded to the standards that we want it to be, and making sure that studio time was spent wisely to make sure that, especially people now invest in that. It's unbelievable support that we've had. So, you know, we want to make sure that we can do the absolute best version of that record that we can, and we stay completely committed to that cause. I hear it a lot, you know, people always say, well, you're going to compromise on time, quality, or money, you know, and for me, I tend to try and go and then kind of force the other guys down my path of thinking of going, well, let's spend the money, you know, let's make it as good as we can, but if it doesn't come out yet, then, you know, so be it.
Yeah,
but it will come out well.
it will come out. It will come out. Yeah.
Do you have a name for it yet?
We've got a couple of names in the bag, haven't we? Yeah, we've probably got a short list. Yeah, we've got a short list. Yeah.
When you say short list, you know there's like 50 names. That's not a short list.
Yeah. We've got a long list of possibilities.
But our standards is pretty short, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of names, is there any reason why so many new bands have got black in the name?
Yes, because black's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's I mean, head to toe. Yes, head to foot in black tonight, which I quite often am. So yes, it is very cool. What about lakes?
The name's an interesting one. So James and I were James and I and Lee, the bass player, you know, that was the very beginning. That was a while ago. But I like to go into detail. So I think I'd written down about 200 different names, potential names. And then James originally came up with an idea of black something else, and now I was like, oh, that's cool, but I'm not sure if that's been used. So we were trying to find something unique. We made sure that it wasn't taken by anyone else, that there was no website. So yeah, when we soon as we saw and stumbled across Black Lakes, it was that and one other. There was that and one other that came down to the last two.
Black Veil Brides.
What's that word?
Black Veil
Brides. Was Black Veil Brides, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. But that had been taken. So I also
Blackstone Cherry.
Exactly. I also really like Black Sabbath, but apparently there was a band from the 70s that had done that.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
I don't know whatever happened to them. I'm not sure what they did, but you know, they were apparently pretty big.
One hit wonder, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like that Paranoid song, wasn't it? Or something? Anyway, but yeah, no. When we found that it wasn't there was no one on any streaming platforms, no website. So you know, we bought blacklakes.com immediately, and that was it. We claimed it as our own.
It's a cool name, and your sound is extremely cool. In fact, you know, I listened to a huge number of new bands, and when I heard yours, my ears kind of pricked up, and I thought, yes, they're on the right track. I like these guys. I like this sound. So I wish you all the very best with your new album, whenever that transpires. And yeah, I have to use another word there, but it's just gone. I don't know what the word was.
Materializes.
Yes, materializes. That's it. This is why I like writing so much. You know, you can like take time thinking about the perfect word, go back and change it. But
I know that.
Materializes is brilliant, so we'll stick with that one. And I hope you get out to do some touring next year. All being well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
And you know, keep up with the drawings, Will, because you can only get better.
There's nowhere to go but up. Yeah.
We've commissioned him for the album cover. You know, the Will Stickman will be the front cover.
Yes.
Yeah, right there.
You could develop a whole range of merchandise around the whole Stickman.
That's true.
Look into it.
A bit like Forky.
I'm laughing now, but in a few years' time, when we've scraped the barrel of ideas, you'll be seeing that T-shirt.
I look forward to it. I will wear it with pride.
You know?
Yes, I will wear that with pride. Listen, look, guys, lovely talking to you. I'm so glad we got to chat. Finally, I know you've not been going for long, but you've been on my radar for a while now, so it's been an absolute delight to talk to you this evening. And I wish you all the very best. So take care. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
This is rock and roll. Burning out to my